Ladies and gents, thank you for joining me on Cosplay Conquest. That's the new name. We're going to conquer cosplay one build at a time. I'm Patrick. I'm not a professional, but I'm going to help you as we stumble our way through each build. Rule number one of cosplay. Don't let your brother get you coffee.
All right, let's get started. Bring me the coffee. You spitting this? Did you pee this? No, should be playing. I think I see some pee. Yep. All right, I trust you. Definitely pee.
That's right, guys. We're going to be building a rock golem, rock monster, whatever you want to call it. Now, peeps, through the course of this build, I'm going to kind of reverse engineer what I did, because there's a lot of places that I messed up. And I want to help you guys out. I want to be able to build it better, and that's the whole purpose of this video, is to show you how to do it, what I did, what won't really work, and what I think will work better, and for cosplay and LARP, because LARP, you're going to be live action role play, you're going to be out and about throwing things, swinging wild at your friends as they beat you with swords and all kinds of fun stuff, so you're going to be a little bit more mobile, but still maintain that intimidation factor of the giant rock monster. Now, supplies for the primary build are, of course, you'll probably need some closed cell foam. Closed cell foam is not polyfoam. You can find this at Walmart or in sporting goods. It's like a floor for mechanics or like a workout room. It's kind of a cushion support on the floor, so if you drop weights, it won't mess the floor up or anything like that. It'll kind of just catch it on here, won't ding nothing up. So that's where you'll find it, or you can go to a foam website where I bought a lot of polyfoam, and you can find closed cell foam in rolled up sheets that does not have the diamond tread, and that's key if you want to buy it and like have both sides to be able to use. You don't want to be limited, and that's the best way to go in my opinion, because it's cheaper. You're buying from a foam factory, and you can get it larger amounts if you've got the money for it. But if you're going frugal, that's $20 for 6 sheets of that, and that should be plenty enough to build the fundamentals, like maybe the body and of course maybe the 2 arms, because with the legs, that's one thing I learned, the legs will be polyfoam. So we'll go on here and talk about polyfoam. Now, polyfoam normally looks like that. It's a sheet of foam, but this is the stuff you could probably find at Walmart that you lay your head on at night. It's like on your mattress. You may actually have it. You may be in need of a new one, so you go buy you a new one to sleep on and use the old one, because believe me, I got some old ones. Now, you don't want to smell like farts or anything bad like that, so make sure that you use the polyfoam or the used stuff that's not been really wore out. I would suggest buying a new one, because if you're going to go to the convention, you're going to have hot Princess Leias and Night Elves laying all over you and taking pictures. You're going to want to smell fresh, because if you're going to get them digits, you've got enough to smell like fart. So don't use used like bedding. Don't do that. I would buy this fresh. It's like $20, I think, for this. Whereas I will say, for $20 cheaper, I talked about that foam factory, the foam factory warehouse, the website below that I went and purchased it. You can buy polyfoam in freaking 8-inch sheets. Like, it's like a mattress. You can sleep on that bad boy. And that, if you're wanting for a bigger, thicker foam, then that's the best way to go. And you can buy it in big yards and sheetage and sheets of foam, huge amounts. And if you buy a lot, I think you get free shipping. So go check that out. There's a website in the description below that'll help you. Next on the list is, after you get polyfoam, if you're going to use polyfoam, hot glue will work, which reminds me, hot glue, you're going to have adhesives. So hot glue is pretty cool. Make sure you get a good hot glue gun. If you're going to do a lot of this, and you're going to do it professionally, you need to be prepared. This is broke. I've duct taped it because this thing is supposed to be wireless, which is stupid. That's just a fire hazard. I'm going to have a little rant about hot glue guns. The insides break, the trigger broke. This is $17 I spent at Walmart, I believe, or 15 maybe. But if you use it enough and you're going to build a lot, I can't stress enough how much, if you're in the artistic juju and you're making stuff and you're hot gluing and you're like, yeah, and it breaks, it's going to just depress you. You're going to have to go to the store. God forbid if it's like miles away. It's going to take 30, 45 minutes of your time out. You have to deal with the populace and their mouth breathing and some lady going, "Where's the crackers?" And I'm like, I'm over here. You're in the automotive, lady. You're in the arts and crafts. There's no crackers here. You just got, you know, and you're like, you have to deal with them. And it'll just drain you of your artistic juices. So do invest and a good hot glue gun. They make them, they're better. I know I did. Speaking of adhesives, let's talk toxic adhesives. Now, toxic adhesives, you can't get more toxic than contact cement. Now, this will stick anything to anything else. Don't get it on your hands, but the good thing about it is if you got it on your hands and you touch something that doesn't have it, it's not going to stick. So you're good there. But it will stick to itself, and that's what contact cement does. You'll lay it on thick, lay it on what you want to stick it to, and then let them dry and then smash them together, and it will be crazy. But if you look on the back, danger, flammable liquid, harmful vapors, vapors harmful, fatal if swallowed, just everything about this is dangerous. So if you're young, make sure you get parental guidance when you're using this, because they'll help you. Let them help you. Let it be a fun cosplay build. Like, if you've got children, let them help. Just don't let them go and drink this or put it up their nose or something, because they'll get brain damage or something. That's terrible. Don't do that. Be smart. Read. Use your literacy so you don't die. Use well-ventilated area, and of course, use the well-ventilated area. It's like I can take well-ventilated areas and stick it on my face. But use a dust, not a dust mask. Use a very professional mask. They're like $40. I don't have one on me right now because I think I broke it. But I've got to get another one. But we're going to be working in a well-ventilated area. Heck, we may take that outside. But we got a big door 2 foot from me, so I believe we'll have enough ventilation. But use a fan, be well ventilated, mask, fancy mask, big one. Next on the list is great stuff. This is your expandable foam. Now this foam is just a lifesaver if you're doing a lot of cool stuff, cool builds. You spray it on, let it expand, spray a little water on it so it expand quicker. Well, after it hardens, you can carve it in rock form. You can make giant boulders to throw at your friends. Now they won't hold up for too much, but if you're making a quick prop, boom bang, make a little cardboard shell. If you want to see more about that, let me know. I may do a quick build. On how to build a big fake boulder to throw at your friends. So tell me in the comments below if you'd like to see that. Heck, I'm just going to do that. So check that out. And of course, you're going to need latex gloves, because my friend, latex gloves are important. You're going to have a little foam crafter's choice is what this is. Foam brushes. Little crappy ones. This is $3.99 for a giant box. That way you can get that contact cement wherever you want, or paint. You just throw them away. I work with the little foam ones because it works better for the contact cement. If you use a brush, it kind of gums up in the bristles, and the bristles suck the moisture out of the glue quicker. So I don't know why it does that. It's just really terrible, and I don't like when working with contact cement or glues to use brushes, even though they may be cheaper. But the foam was $3.99. This is like 20 of them. 20 of these little brushes, and you'll be glad you bought them. Let's talk paint real quick. I like to use the latex paint for like house walls, like wall paint. It's going to cover well, and it's cheaper for a lot of it. Now, I bought this. It was really cheap. It was on sale, I think, for like $5 or $6 or something like that, because it was a mist tint. Somebody bought this colored paint, and it wasn't what they wanted, so they brought it back and got their money back, so they sell it to you for a discounted price. Always ask them if they have a clearance section with mist tints. I will do this every time I go in there, because you never can tell. When you walk in, there'll be some really cool blood colored stuff, or maybe some like gruesome green or stuff like that, because you'll never, this will last for a long time, so it's worth your $6 to buy it cheap instead of like $15 for another gallon like this of your the color you choose. So just buy this. You never can tell when you'll use it. Don't go buying pinks and stuff if you don't need them, but if you think you'll need them, it may inspire a build. So that's important. That's my rant on that. This is razor cutters and Sharpies. If you don't got them laying around and you call yourself a crafter, just pack up and leave. It's not for you. If you don't have these on hand at all times, I carry these in my pocket, just in case I want to craft something up in McDonald's. The box looks crazy. I don't do that. Now we're going to be walking through the individual builds. Now with the head, it's a motorcycle helmet. Now you can leave the foam in there, but I bought this at the thrift shop for like $4. So I didn't want to leave someone else's sweaty head juice on my head. So I pulled all that out, and I used my foam, polyfoam, to rebuild the foam. Now you can put layers upon layers in here, and that's just that's simple. Now, and then I sprayed the foam on the outside of it. All of this can be referenced in the bottom. There's other builds that I use this foam as well, so if you want to get a better feel for it. But as you can see, just up in there, and then of course this is some nylon stockings of that I can see through. And you can see through it real well, and that's where the opening of the motorcycle helmet is. But that is the long and short of it. Now you could also drill holes in the helmet and put little eyes here that you can put a little battery pack in and light up if you wanted to. That's something else, but I'm not electronically savvy, so I can't really make those. You can buy them, I'm sure, but I didn't have time to make them. Now, what you would need to do is there's different types of masks and helmets like that. This I bought at the thrift shop. It was in the toy section. It was like maybe, I think, $4. There was a bunch more attached to it. I've taken it apart and looked at how it works because I was going to see how I was going to maybe make this into like a cool mask, like build off from it with clay or something. But you see here that you could use this. You could spray that with the foam and carve it, and you'd never even see this no more. You would never even know unless you told them what it was, that this was the thing. You just spray over it. Heck, you even got to have it opening like that. Of course, that would be also a good way to, you know, you could figure out a way to spray foam or like build it to where this is stationary, so you could use this. You could maybe spray foam here and spray foam here. That way you'd at least have, you know, a little action that you could work it. Just ideas. Always brainstorm. That's important. But see that, you can just spray that over. Like, I built this helmet out of fiberglass and molded it. This fiberglass hard. You could spray foam over it. Completely change it, or build some horns like all from it with it. Like you could drill a hole and put you like, or hot glue you a little metal thing to build off the foam, spray it on there and carve it. That's brainstorming. That's just your helmet and how you want your head to look. I drew a lot of pictures of what I wanted this bad boy to look like, and then I went with this build, and I love it. This helmet alone is cool. Like you wear this around inside of a convention, wear a regular suit, they'll think you like just some kind of rock head monster. That's still cool. But that is how I built that, just sprayed it on there. Now, if you look with the pants area, start with the pants, you see the foam. This is what we're dealing with. Like it'll spray and it'll expand and you'll carve it up. Now, I'm not going to demonstrate this because I will demonstrate it again multiple times, but I have it here on the arm build for Hellboy. If you'll go check that out next, if you want to see how to carve it, if you don't have the full idea, that's how to do that. Just carve it, spray it, let it expand like this, and it'll expand like this. Take your razor cutter. Be careful. And as you can tell, it's already getting angles. It's already getting hard angles like a stone. And that's that simple. You can even carve little deviations in it. Like that. It's that simple. But we're going to talk more about the polyfoam and how to make the polyfoam workaround. Now, let's get to the body of it. All right, now what we have here is the spray foam body that I've painted on top of the closed cell foam, the hard diamond tread foam body that I'd made, the endoskeleton, as you would see. Like it's made of that, so that way we kind of hold a shape, and then I sprayed the polyfoam. Now if you sprayed just polyfoam on some stuff, it would look terrible. It would get all crackly and breaky, but as you can see here on the arms, this is more important. Like with this is just a sleeve of a shirt that I hot glued on the inside of it. Like I made a vest out of the polyfoam or the closed cell foam. There's so many foams I'm talking about here. Closed cell foam. I did the spray foam on the outside, carved it and painted it, and then I hot glued a sleeve of an old shirt, long sleeve shirt, and then I sprayed some. Make sure it's a dark shirt because it'll be easier on the paint job. And then I just sprayed some more here, and of course cut it up just on the top because you wanted to have a little bit of mobility. That's where I messed up. Now we're going to show you how to fix that right after this. But let me. If you're making the body, you make it smaller. You want to make an endoskeleton that hard, that's good. But if you want to put little wings and adorn it with cool little things like that, big jagged like shoulders and all, make sure you got mobility. That's important. I had to cut off a lot of this because I built some shoulder pads that come off from it, but the arm was just totally hitting it. Wasn't moving a bit. That's important to make sure while you're visualizing it and your concept is make sure you don't work yourself and you pigeonhole yourself to where you're going to have to cut this out and completely fix it. Don't do that. Think smarter, not harder. I didn't. But if you look here, this is the workaround I did. I wanted some cooler rock wings, so I hot glued some cardboard or just anything on the inside to make a little tiny skeleton, sprayed the foam on there, and then carved it up. So it does look like big rocks jetting out of the shoulders. So there you go. That's how we did that. And I'm going to show you the workaround process here that I think is going to benefit us the best after building this and learning from my mistakes. Now we're going to talk about the hands. The hands and arms are any way you want them built. This, as you can tell, is a rock hand. I know it's out of frame here. Let me see. This would be your rock hand. And of course, If you want to build the same way, you can build a stone rock hammer, which you can use this anyway. Like if you wanted to put this on a staff, like a big staff, you can make a heck of a hammer for LARPing. You can knock the piss out of somebody, and it will look really cool. You, of course, you could, you know, you paint them up real nice. I'll put like a rune in it. Like you can paint inside the rune any color you want, or make it glow if you have, you know, your editing software. But as you can see inside of here, let me break it down here for you. Here's a sphere, like a thing, and right here I built the foam. As you can see, the hard foam, the poly foam, I made an X inside of here, and I hot glued this in the middle of that X, and then I carved it into a point. Then I sprayed the spray foam on the inside of it till it expanded, and I carved it like a rock out like this. Now I've yet to paint this, but this would be something good if you wanted to put like a arm protector over. You want to make a big rock, something to smash, or maybe a pole arm, like to sit it on something. Like if you wanted to like turn it into a sickle or a scythe, that you could paint the rocks like a big rock scythe that you could like a big stone Grim Reaper looking thing. Just it's all in the concept. You got to think ahead and know what. First off, you got to know what product you're working with, because I would have never thought about this until I used that spray foam, and then it hit me. So experiment with some of your stuff. You're going to have to burn a little money and throw a lot of things away, but don't get yourself down. It took a long time before I, you know, seen the concept in my mind to make this. But just think about that. But you got your handle here. This pipe at any hardware store, cheap as you can buy it. I mean, they've even got even cheaper pipes than this. Glue it together with the glue. Make sure you use well ventilated area, because that's a stout glue. Is you know, pipe glue is very stout smell as well. But that's what you do right there. That's basically what we did for the head and the hand. We did whatever design, like with this, I did more of just a little cardboard inside of there, and then sprayed it, and then, you know, you're going to have to work in layers, because you can't spray something this big and then carve it, because it'll be gooey on the inside. But you'll find that out in, say, the other builds. I've got plenty of other stone builds that see what I'm talking about. But you can spray that into a shoebox, little at a time. Take about 2 layers. That way you know you're not going to get it gooey, and then carve it up that way. That was how I built this, and then sprayed. I just kept laying layers on, because you got to do 1 layer at a time, let it expand and carve it. You can't just keep going hogging it on, because the outside will harden. You'll still have a gooey inside. I can't stress that enough. That's the most important, because these cans of spray foam, they're not cheap. So to help benefit you and your wallet, make sure you do it right, and you can learn from me. I don't want you having the same mistake. But you do it a little bit at a time, layer by layer, and you'll make your hard cylinder of foam, and then spray that. Now that is where you could probably benefit from changing. As you can see, it goes really up my arm. If you're going to do this, make sure you're not going to go past your elbow. That way you can bend it and smash stuff. But I will say I learned a lot from this build. I think you could work with this cuffs, and we'll show you what I'm talking about right here in a minute. But I want to work my way down the project. This is a leg, and it is built the same way as the arm. Big foam cylinder. Next is the pants. Now these pants, if you see the front, I got some green paint dripped on it, but they're just a pair of pants I bought. A little bit bigger because they couldn't fit me, they had to fit someone else, like I said, Braxton. But spraying it, and then I just carved it. Now it will hold a shape, but you're gonna have to move them around. As you can see, let me turn it around here. With the crotch had to go, because you got to move his legs forward and back a little bit. So I had to crack the crotch. So I had to cut the crotch there, and I didn't touch it up, but you see what I'm getting at. And of course the back, where the butt crack is at, because you know your legs need to be mobile. This is where, you know, I had to cut a bunch out for the legs to actually go back. And this is my major spot that I messed up. That and the arms, because of the mobility. But that's what we're here to rectify, and we're giving you the walkthrough of what I did wrong and how to change it. So the pants, we sprayed them there. First I sprayed it a little low, but as you can see, that's exactly what I did. This has not been carved. I sprayed it on there, and when I sprayed it on there, you see it can be ripped off, but it took a little bit of work. Now if you carve it, it should stay on there, especially if you encase it like I did. And it's not gonna, it'll bend a little and break, but that's what you need to do. You need to find your bending and breaking spots, and I'll go ahead and pre-break them before you paint them. Because the rock, that's a good thing about this rock, it ain't gotta be smooth, but it's just gotta be to where it'll bend and give without completely breaking. And that's where I thought that I really messed up. And that's where we're gonna work. As you see that, I just carved it and cut them off the pants. But there's plenty of better ways to do that. And let me show you how. Now remember the old polyfoam we talked about just a few seconds ago? Here it is. Now, what I realized after working with polyfoam, I build puppets and stuff like that, and polyfoam is one of the things I use to help build the puppets. I noticed that I could easily make a cylinder out of this. And I could easily run my hand up in it. And as you can tell, the entire thing moves. And that's a great thing. It's not as rough and tumble as the other stuff. Now, what I'm going to do here is give you a quick overview of what I've got going on. Now, I've already pre-marked it to where the cylinder would make a nice little hole. I stress if you get a sharp razor, you're going to cut this. You're going to have to change your razors a lot. We're going to cut the excess off here just to make it a little bit as pretty. Now, of course, if you wanted this to be on the outside, you could, but that's not what you're wanting. You're wanting to connect it here. We got our weld wood, as it's called, DAP weld wood contact cement. Like I said, crack a window, crack a door. We've got things open over there, so we've got plenty of room to breathe. So what I'm going to do is just lay it on the edges. Now you lay a nice thin layer on it, really thin, but make sure you get the good coverage. I'll take this, I'll lay it right here, let it dry. Don't get this on the stuff everywhere. And we'll come right back when it's dry. Now it's been fully dry. Now you let it fully dry. It's going to take about 10-15 minutes, or with a hair dryer very quickly. But after you've got them dry, because it's got to be dry to the touch before you can stick them together. Because once you stick them, they're stuck. So do keep that in mind, because it's going to be serious if you stick it and you didn't mean to stick it. So you take it and you just put them together like that. You'll pinch it. And that's easy. As you can see, it'll stick. Now give it a little bit to dry before we start tugging it. And after this bad boy is stuck together, fully dry, stuck together, and there's no wetness that you're going to have to keep pinching, always pinch it. Get up on the inside and pinch it on the inside too. Pinch them together. Really give them a good pinch. And after this is dried fully, you will rip the foam before you pull that seam apart. It is 100%. Now this will, like if you leave if you leave the glue the contact cement to dry for longer than 10 minutes or so, I wouldn't go no more than 30-45 minutes, or it'll get kind of where it won't stick to one another. But after it's stuck, as you can see, fully cylinder, and that's your arm. That's your arm, and as you can see here, we're going to cut this and adorn it to make it look like rock. But when you bend it, that's a little unrealistic. But you're a rock monster. It's not really. Did you see the way it worked at the beginning? It didn't look really realistic there either. It was very clunky, and you weren't going to get a lot of coolness out of it. But as you can tell, that's that. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a quick body, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, what I got here, you see the two dots? Those are not nipple marks. These are my arm marks. So what I did is I took this piece that is big enough to go around my body, and I laid it up. You see the line here? I have to cut the excess off. Now I did is I put it around my body. This will give you an idea. This is a quick one. Like if you want to build one quick, you just kind of touch it to itself, and there's a line. Like this is the snugness of your body. If it's a thicker foam, even better, because you got a lot of room to work with and make big boulders and jagged rock. But we're going to show you here in a minute what I'm getting at. You see that? We're going to cut that excess off. We're going to glue that together. And then I kind of held it up here to where I'm going to need a little bit at the top, because you're going to need a little bit at the top to pinch together and close. You know what I'm saying? But there you go. There's the hole for you're going to cut a circle for your arms. Right there. You see that? It's that simple. Now what we do here is we get in here. We cut around the outskirts. Be careful. If you're working fast, don't work super fast and cut your dadgum finger off. I don't want to see no comments below go, well, Patrick, that was an awesome build, but can you show me how to build a hand? Because I ripped one off cutting my foam too quick. Boy, howdy. And I'll be like, man, I feel bad. Safety first, kids. I'm showing you how quick we can mop one up here, because this is not going to be beautiful. But this is what I'm telling you here is I'm giving you the concept, the fundamentals. And the fundamentals are important, because you can build off these fundamentals. After we've recorded, make sure you're holding it like this. Don't hold it like that and close it up, because then you'll have a problem. Unless that's what you're aiming for. But you want to hold it like this, that way you have your spikes on the sides. Start with your spikes after it's dry. See that? What I'm getting at about a spike? Now you can cut this down. See that? It's going to be like a spike. But you can cut it down and then, like I say, curve it and then do it again if you want to. Or you can do that previous. You can hold it together and get all those measurements beforehand. What I'm doing Now this could be used as a mascot suit because you could put fur on this easy. You could hot glue fur on this and make a big ass monkey suit. That's why I keep telling you, there's so many things that you could build with this basic format. That's why I keep saying fundamentals, because it's just the beginning. Your imagination is just unbelievable. I've seen things that people built that I never would have thought about, and if you would have given me nothing but time, but all the time in the world to think about it, it'd never hit me. You can measure this and make it perfect. I, on the other hand, am not, because like I told you, we're just learning. To be quite honest, I've never done this before. But we're doing it, and we're learning. Don't let your lack of knowledge on something stifle your creativity. Fresh out the womb, you didn't know how to speak, did you? But look at you, talking like a crazy man now. Okay, now we're putting it on. You can make it a little bigger if you want. Like I said, the fundamentals are key here because we're starting with an idea. We'll build off from it. There you go. Get you a foam body. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to do the same thing we did here with gluing. We'll just glue these arm diddles on. Guys, now what we're going to do before we attach the arms is we're going to texture them to make them look like rocks. Now that's easy. You can draw on there if you want to. I'm just going to take, what you'll do is open this up. You don't want to cut down too far. You see that? You'll make a little divot. We're just going to do that wildly. Alright, after about 45 minutes, you should have something well textured, however you want yours textured. I will say a scissors, the bigger the scissors, the bigger the gap. And the less, less uniform, it's easier to make it look not so uniform and cut out. You just got to bend it the right way and clip in different areas and then bend it in different ways and clip it in different areas and then let it all out. Like you see where I drew bricks in or like rocks in and then kind of cut around it and left some high spots, some low spots. That's all your personal preference. That's you going wild on it. Just have a good time. I wouldn't use a straight razor or nothing like that because it might cut through and then you'll have you'll have to glue it back together with the contact cement. But other than that, that is pretty good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to paint it. I'm going to show you the technique in which we're going to paint it. But ideally, you would want to have this attached to the shirt along with everything, or to the other foam pieces before you give it the good finished painting. Because I don't know how good it would be on the lip here to connect. Like foam to foam, like painted foam and painted foam. It may work great, but it wouldn't be as good a bond. So I would probably just go ahead and get it attached first to the other foam, and then we would paint it. All right, now this is going to be the fun part, and by fun I mean messy. I've got a foam brush, but use a bigger brush than this. I don't have one on me at the moment. But what we got to do is we got to paint the outside of this. Now, I know what you're thinking. The outside is going to look great now, but what if it cracks or you move it and it's not going to go in there? What we're going to try to do is get it to soak up in there. Now, I know this works because I've done it for some smaller scale projects, like with say making a puppet. Like if you'll see on Raid Buddies, Ragnaros, he has some foam cutouts from the rock. I've soaked it in this paint and really filled the foam up, and it takes forever to dry, but when it does, it's a latex paint, so it's kind of melded in here, and it's it changes the foam a bit, so it's gonna take a lot to get fully coated. Now, you won't have to coat it all the way through, but just enough to where you feel comfortable. So what we're going to try to do now, this is me trying this for the very first time on a larger scale. So I hope that it doesn't make a huge mess. What we're going to do, we got us a nice little area. I would say paint this outside over a trash bag or something. Because I'm iffy about how this is going to look. Now this could work. Maybe there's an easier way to do it. But what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to get here and really get this worked into the fabric. Or the foam. Try not to make a big mess. Because you're going to get it really in here. Like maybe the top layer will be fine because, like I said, once you get enough in there, you don't have to go all the way through to get all them layers. You get into that polyfoam, it's going to absorb, and that's a good thing. You want it to absorb. You want to kind of run it. That's why I say use gloves, because you want to rub it down in that. Rub it all into that fabric, because you don't want none of the other stuff to show. Now you're going to go over it with your hands soon and really rub it in there after you're done getting a good thorough coat. Okay, it's been 24 to 48 hours after the base coat. What you have now is a dried, textured, wonderful cylinder of foam and or an entire suit, depending on how you are going to either A, fix what you did, you're going to add it to something, or you're going to make a suit completely comprised of this polyfoam type material. But now, after we've got it textured, what we're going to do is kind of get a dry brush effect. Now, you want to go to like Home Depot. These are $10 for a box of 15 chip brushes. They're called chip brushes because you can get these jokers dirty, throw them right in the garbage. Now, you can probably find them cheaper online at different resources, but I mean, if you're in a hurry and you're strapped for time, this is the best way to go. You don't have to pay shipping. Just go in there and grab them. Now, you won't pull the excess out because you don't want to get this stuck in the, this furry stuff stuck into the fabric. And what we're going to do is we've already mixed this up. We're going to crack the lid on it. And I'm going to show you, just like we did on the Hellboy build, we're going to take just a touch. You can even just shake, as you shake it up if someone's on the lid, it's probably all you'll need. Now, the key here is getting it really packed into the brush. You don't want to get too much on the brush that's dripping off because you don't want to coat. You just want to lightly touch the high spots. Make it look like stone, much like the big piece of the hard foam that I showed you before, the spray foam. Now you'll want to, of course, brush this across the thing, and you've got just enough on there to do a little bit of dirty work. You're just going to brush it across the top, as you see here. I'm going to hit in different spots, higher spots, lower spots, but you want to kind of drag it like this, because when you drag it like that, you see inside these crevices you're not getting any paint, but on the top part you're getting a little bit of paint. Now you can do different colors if you want a different colored monster. It doesn't have to be just this color, because stone can be in different colors, shapes, sizes. It can be like a frost type giant rock monster, and you can paint it in different shades of blue, like a very dark navy blue for where we put the dark gray, and then a light blue on top to where like this maybe ice, and you can even go a little bit lighter, and you can tap in some very bright white as it would be, say, like some snow on top of the creature. Now, kind of don't go in any set format, or you're going to start getting a nice little perfect stroke going on. You don't want that. You want to be kind of sporadic with it because it is rock, it is stone. And if you get some down in the deep crevices, don't fret. I will say you be very careful on this one because you can't hardly remove the paint. It won't remove. You just go back in spots that you want to really get a lot of rock, a lot of the white on it. You can like go in different spots and just touch up different areas. All of this is up to your imagination. I'm showing you on this one spot because really, if you're going to build the entire suit out of polyfoam, what I'm showing you right here and what I showed you with the body and how you cut it out, the workaround there, that is all you need to know of this. I mean, I don't have to paint the whole thing for you to get the idea, the fundamentals, I should say, because I want you to, kind of work your imagination here. Don't necessarily do identical to what I did, or always try to come up with your own creation. Do some sketches beforehand. Really come up with this creature. Make him your own. And of course, video responded to this one because all the people watching this wants to look down on the video responses and see it. And I'm talking about it, so they should go check it out. And if there is video responses, go check them out and show them some love. If they're beginners, don't be harsh on them. They're starting out. They could be doing special effects for the next movie that you enjoy in the future, and then you're over here trash talking them. You got to start somewhere. But as you can see, it's getting, like you see this flat part here is not got so much. You can actually, if you get a little bit more paint in here. Now this polyfoam, it's not going to resemble rock as much as the spray foam would, but you can really touch up these top pieces of rock, and I'll show you here in a minute how we can make it look even more like stone even after you've got it done on the accessories portion, because we'll finish with accessorizing your rock monster, because every little bit is going to make it look even better. But bear kind of hard on the spots like this. Like, so there's a big flat expanse. Just bear down hard right there. You don't have to rub it in the crevices. Just make sure the top of that area is nice and taken care of. And after you're done, this will look amazing. I guarantee it. And it's fairly cheap to make. I mean, you could go all out and you take this and really expand upon it and take time and airbrush cracks of your own and marbling of the stone with a feather dipped in, you know, your favorite acrylics, you know, different color acrylics. You could, I mean, there's many options you can do. Like you can plan out how you're going to cut these rocks, as opposed to just sporadically cutting and, you know, chopping at it like I did. But you always make sure not to go down into it, because that's what's going to pat it into the stuff. You need to drag it. Lay it and drag it. Load some up, lay it, drag it. Lay it, drag it, back and forth. And it'll stay out of the cracks and only on the highlights. You'll be a rock golem in no time. I will say, I hope and I pray that your cosplay event is in the fall or the winter, because this will be a hot suit. It is not going to be a suit that's going to be amazingly breathable. You may have to put you some fans in there. Always think about the actor. If you're building this for somebody, don't be selfish. Think about the actor, the shoot day that you're working with the actor. Like, am I going to have this poor guy in this suit all the time? Am I going to be able to make this suit to where he can easily evacuate it if he has to take a restroom break and or gets too hot without us having to destroy it in an emergency? Always remember that, because if you're going to invest time and money into this, invest just a touch more time and a touch more money to make sure you're going to be able to work with that actor again in the future without him going and telling people that you're unprofessional or you're at the convention and some hot lady's like, I love your rock suit. Man, you the greatest. And you're all like, yeah, baby, if you would, let's go back up to my room. And then by the time you get to your room, you passed out and you're dead. And she's like, oh my God. And she's on trial and she doesn't even know you. She was from Cincinnati. And then she's crying and she's traumatized for life. You're dead, so that's even worse. And then all because you didn't think ahead and make an easy evacuation. A zipper or something on this. But there you go. We'll let that dry. And the good thing about this is the hour maybe, and this will be fully dry to the touch, and you can start working with other stuff. Of course, if you're doing the entire suit, then that will be the best way to go about it, is hang it up somewhere and just do the whole suit. Let it sit there and dry. Wham bam, you're good. But now we're going to show you how to attach it to the body and or the other part. As you can tell, we cut off the sleeve and the arm. We pulled off the stone. It's just glued there, just like that. And you can see it was just a sleeve from a shirt. Just a button-up Dickies shirt, I believe. And, you know, I got it because it was like a heavyweight material and it would kind of move a little bit. But it didn't move as much as I wanted it to. So what we did was we cut it off. Now, this is a good idea. Like, if you can see just a piece of that foam sprayed with some of the polyfoam carved. Look at that. Stone shoulders. A stone shield if you made it big enough. So there's versatility in this alone. If this is just a rock, if you want to like have it and completely complete it, like say spray more here, carve it out and make a rock, you smash over someone's head, it's lightweight and it doesn't hurt when you hit somebody with it. So in a movie, you hit them with it. Boom, bang, there you go. Now, with this gaping hole, we're going to hot glue and or contact cement. I would probably use contact cement. But I'm not, for the sake of time, I'm just going to show you that this is the workaround that I was planning on. Just hot gluing it or contact cementing it in there. Now, as you can tell, if it was in there, it's going to give a bit. As you can see here by when I bend it. It's going to buckle over on itself. The thicker you go with the foam, say if you made a thick foam, like 2 or 3 inches, like big boulders that you've cut out and painted it like that, then also then you can kind of cut a groove in it where it will naturally bend. It's still going to bend like crazy, but at the end of the day, that's probably as good as you're going to get without really, you know, hurting the actor or the person that you're cosplaying with. Now, see, you can reattach this, easy peasy. You've made a polyfoam sleeve with the hard foam, and it will bend, but as you can tell, you've shielded in a way visually the bend with this unbendable type polyfoam. So keep that in mind. You can always re-glue this back on there or glue little smaller pieces. Just whatever is I mean, this isn't really a how-to so much as it is a look. This is kind of the fundamentals, and you can go and do as you please. But of course, this will work good as a leg, a column, anything that you want it to work like. But there you go. There was that initial idea. It doesn't match because first off, this isn't dry, and it is a different color gray, like light white gray than this color. But you know, if you'd match your colors. I've run out of this color. I have to go back and get it later. But as you can see, that was how we did that. Now let me show you the idea on the full polyfoam suit. Now at this point, this is going to be the one that bends the most. It's gonna, if it's big, thick, and thicker than this, and you've cut big lesions and big stones, it's going to be awesome looking. But it's still going to bend just like the arm because that's just how it is on your body. Now it's going to conform better, and maybe what I would suggest if I was doing a body like this, I would build breasts, like stone breasts and abs, and I would glue them on to this part. Also, this would still be like the arm here. This would be this, you know, and the negative space, the polyfoam space that would be behind the hard foam would still be rock related and bendable, but of course only the places that are not going to bend would be where you would have this hard spray foam. So keep that in mind. That's also a good way to do it. Like you put like after it's done, like if you were building the suit like this, you would have a zipper probably installed in the back or some Velcro. You would have these attached. You would have something done with these elbows. Say maybe you would have these attached to, you would contact cement those together. Then you'd probably have this attached here. So that way you would all be matching, and it would be kind of a fluid looking rock creature with bigger boulders on it. Now after that's done, after you'd have that whole suit done here, it would be kind of, you could do the legs. The legs could be a smaller version of these feet, like a smaller, more practical version of these feet. And of course, these could be your legs that go all the way down into the boot. You see here, you got a big boulder boot that will be smaller because you can make it smaller, because I had to make it taller because I didn't have a lot of room to put pants in there. And of course, that was a good workaround. That's something I figured out. That alone will be used for me personally when I go to make the version 2 of this. But we're just talking shop here, prototyping. Now this was purchased at a hobby shop. It's called Super Moss. Preserved sheets of moss. Now it does have a dirt smell when it comes fresh out the box, but it's not that bad of a dirt smell. And of course, it doesn't have a lot of dirt still on it, but it is it's green, grassy mold. And of course, when it stays out into the air, it will lose its mossiness. Now you can take Super 77 or a spray adhesive, or of course that contact cement if you wanted to glue. I wouldn't use that because it would be too hard, because you kind of want to break this up and put it in the little cracks and nooks and the crannies and all of the rock build to make it look more realistic. Like say if you were going to use this leg, you would probably take a look, see this crack here, you'd put a little in here, and you of course glue that in, and it will make the rock look real. Now the point I'm making by using the rock and making it look real like that is you want to use everything to your advantage. As a low-budget movie maker, as a low-budget LARPer or cosplayer, you want to try to make your immersion factor the best it possibly can be for your buck. And this right here was maybe $5 for a bag of this. And it's in the florist section of your hobby shop where you can make fake flowers and everything. So that way you can put it around the base of a flower to make it look realistic and all cool and nature-like. But you can take that and you can put it around your stone in different spots. Don't really hog it on unless you're making a swamp monster. And that would be a good way to make a swamp monster. But basic things like that. Let me show you something else while we're talking. I went to a thrift shop. And while I was at the thrift shop, I bought a plant. A potted plant. A fake one. This is fake, of course, because plants will always stay green. But the thing is it is, of course, leaves. Now, if you were to say, this was the shoulder of your druid-style rock beast monster, like elemental shaman rock arms, you would take this, and of course it's already narrow at the end, and go shove it in, sprawl it out, make it look pretty, and you have wild growth coming out of your shoulders made of stone. Now, I'm showing you these little tiny things because sometimes you overlook them until they hit you in the face and you see somebody else talking about them. These are all little aspects and little things that you can do. I think this plant cost me like maybe $8, and it was huge. It's littered, like there's pieces cut up everywhere in different spots that I've used on different builds. Like you can use the sticks and the wood, like it's fake wood and sticks. You can use that as like weapons, like the handle of weaponry. And of course you can use just random bits of tree here. And you've made a wonderful arrangement for your grandmother. Or if you're going to a BlizzCon or a convention, you have turned yourself into an elemental shaman. Guys, I've told you a lot through this episode. I hope that you learned something from it. If you have a better way of doing a few things or some cool workarounds or some nifty techniques, then feel free to share them in the comments below or via video response. Speaking of video response, in the video response will be the videos that I have that are going to be necessary for the build, like the Hellboy arm and a few other things, and of course annotated on the screen. So feel free to check those out to learn a little bit more, to go a little bit more in depth, especially with the spraying of the foam and the carving of the foam, because I didn't talk about it a lot in this video, but of course you've seen some of what we can do with it, of course. But guys, I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you'll share it, and I hope you'll thumbs up and favorite it. You guys take care, and until next time, keep conquering the cosplay world. That was lame. Maybe a thing, though. What do you think, Brad?